All right, guys, welcome to Cube. My name is Ryan, and today we are with Phil Yu from the Cubicle.
Hey.
Thank you very much for joining us. So let's just get right down into it. The first question we have is from the Scout, and he'd like to know if there is still a GAN sticker on your shirt from a competition.
I don't think so. We make a lot of cubes, and we do that in comp and at work, and occasionally we get stickers in the most unexpected place. And
The story is he said that he was talking to you or something, and he managed to get it right on. There was a shirt that had what looked like a sticker scheme on it, and
right. The new Moyu shirt had those 6 colors,
yeah,
and I remember that. We got that off.
he's been begging me to ask you for a few days, so I wanted to get that out of the way first. So the first question that we have is, what is it like to work with all these huge competitions like Nats or Big Apple?
It's okay. So Big Apple, not so much, because Big Apple is supported by the organizer, who is the head guy at Cube Depot, and so I didn't really contribute much to making that competition work. But our company does a lot of work with Nats, and it's a really intensive process. You're basically preparing a few months for one weekend, and to make sure everything goes well, we try to over prepare as much as possible. And so the weeks leading up to Nats is extremely stressful, but it's all for a good cause. You're making a few hundred people happy, and so we try our best. And we try to do stuff at the smaller, not so 500 people in competitions, to just test the waters and try new things and experiment and see where we can push the limits of providing service and where we should improve. And so when we get to Nats, we have a much better idea of how to tackle a very big event.
Okay, so I would like to know, what are your personal averages or your method, and that of the other staff?
Okay, so my WCA is there, but my times are kind of all over the place. So my method is easy, and I picked it up because my friend did it, and I didn't want to learn OLL, which is the worst thing ever, because I know so many more algorithms than conventional OLL, kind of backfired, which is incredibly silly. But at home, I can global average mid 10, and if things go well, low 10. I will most often always get a sub 10 average and a big average, but my practice is really sporadic, and I don't really really practice all the time, especially when it matters. Sometimes there'll be a period of off where I don't compete and I practice a lot, and then a week before a comp I'll just won't touch a cube, and then I just get really silly averages at a comp. But I mostly do one-handed, and that was a big part of my cubing when I was younger. I peaked at around a low 12, mid 12 average, and now I average anything between 13 and 16. It's just really, really practice intensive, and I don't get much time to do it.
Okay. Right, so I was wondering, is there anything else you can tell us about the Michael Humu joke, and what were his thoughts about it, and whose idea was it originally?
Oh, yeah, it was my idea. I actually come up with a lot of the really terrible ideas that people see, and a lot of people don't expect that I come up with these ideas, because I seem like a really conservative and normal guy. But yeah, Michael Humu is funny. He's actually one of our employees. He's a cube maker, and we thought, okay, this is a guy who has some background in cubing, but no one's ever seen before, so we can pass him off as a new guy. And it's kind of, I don't know if you're familiar with Smash, competitive Smash.
Oh yeah.
But it kind of feels like Scorpion Master in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
This just random dude just shows up and just destroys everybody. It's kind of got that Scorpion Master feel, which we like, because we like Smash, and so we thought Michael Humu was funny.
All right. Well, now I have to ask, what's your main Smash character?
Oh, in Melee, I played Marth and Sheik. 'Cause I wasn't like mechanically good enough to play Space Animals. In Brawl, I just like didn't take Brawl seriously, and I played low tier, and I've played about 2 hours of Smash 4, and so I really didn't know what to do.
All right. So the next thing we have is I was wondering, can you tell us about the store's relationship with YouTube channels and what it's like working with huge ones like JR Cuber?
Okay. Well, JR Cuber is a really interesting person. It's not so much like when I interact with these people, it's not so much I'm working with a channel, but I'm working with a person. And I mean, his channel's huge, but JR Cuber as a person is really interesting because he's a lot younger than you think he is. And it's interesting because he behaves pretty much like an adult, and it's very businesslike. It's very formal. He's very organized, and I actually streamed with him before, and he was super organized, and it was just really cool. When I do business with like JR Cuber, for example, I can expect that everything is very neatly prepared, and nothing really crazy happens.
All right. So, is there anything you can tell us about the Cubeologist?
Okay. Well, Damien was in business with Cubes for Speed on the West Coast, and from what I've discussed with him, Cubes for Speed as a business was making some changes in their business, and those changes didn't really involve Damien a whole lot. And so, as a cubeologist, he wanted to keep working in the cube industry. And so he approached us and was pretty much like, hey, I'm the cubeologist. I'd like a new place to do cubology. And so, we took him up on that. He's a really cool guy, and he's very well-rounded in a number of things, both like cubing, producing content, being creative, and giving really formal business advice, and just everything in general. So he seemed like a pretty cool guy to work with.
Yeah, that's really good because he's probably one of my favorite channels that I watch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I feel like that's going to be a really good partnership.
Yeah, he's got a really snazzy animation thing going on.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So now we have a few fan questions that I'd like to ask.
Sure.
Mike would like to know, what is your favorite sticker scheme?
Okay. Well, I have two answers for that. The first is what I personally prefer, and I sticker, quite a few cubes at work occasionally, and so I have like a favorite one to use and then a favorite one to sticker. And so for use, I personally go for a foam bright plus sky blue. I'll change my blue every now and then, but right now it's sky blue. The fluoro blue in the Fulbright set felt a little too pale for me, and so I switched into a more substantial blue, but that might change. I've also tried bright blue and light blue. Those are also pretty nice. To sticker, I really like the JR Cuber scheme to sticker. That's really fun. And also the Moyu scheme with the Fulbright orange. That's also a lot of fun. It's just cool to see the contrast and to see fluoro blue and fluoro red in every scheme that I work with. So it's like a nice break. That, and our company has so many colors. I feel like we're responsible for most of the crazy color schemes people have. And so occasionally you'll have one with like chrome gold and mint and purple, and you're like, how the heck does this guy even speed solve this cube? And that's also very fun to sticker.
All right, yeah. I actually am planning on getting a new sticker mod soon. I set up a negative color scheme.
Okay.
All the opposites, so I'm hoping to get that soon.
Cool.
Vin would like to know if you are willing to fight Cam Cuber at Nats.
I mean, I think out of all the shop owners that are like currently active, I've talked to him the most. And I don't know, I'm kind of an old man, and he looks like he works out, so I might have to take him up on rock, paper, scissors or something. I don't know. Because, yeah, I don't think it'd be good.
All right,
Wouldn't end well.
best of luck with that. Half Bright Cube would like to know how you figure out how to set up a premium cube and like what's the testing process for that.
Okay, so we get the cube, and then we just think to ourselves what types of lube would work based on the objective. And so, for example, we get a GTS in, and it's really fast, and you can't really control it. And so you kind of understand your objective to be, I want to make this cube slower a bit without compromising its nice clicky feel. And then you intuitively try to figure out combinations of lubes that achieves your objective. And then it's trial and error. And lubing, it's not an exact science. And so there is trial and error involved. Occasionally you'll have like differences in how much lube you put in, or, you know, other factors that really affect what you may think is, you know, the result. And so a lot of trial and error goes in, and we don't release anything unless we can produce it over and over again very consistently. And that way we feel safe, like producing them for other people.
Yeah, I know it's everyone usually likes the premium cubes. You guys definitely do a good job with them. My main is actually a premium Mei Ying.
Cool. Yeah, that's actually an interesting cube. It's really old, and I think it's aged really well. So that's really cool.
Absolutely. I use it. My turning style has always been a little bit rougher than, I guess, normal. So I get a lot of really good control with this. So that's really why I've been drawn to it.
Yeah, Ro was actually he used the custom Mei Ying for a very long time, and that's pretty much how he got back into like getting addicted.
So Larger, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Larger would like to know if you are ever considering having a physical store.
Okay. I mean, we always consider it. To consider something is really easy, because that just means you just think about it. And occasionally we will think about it, because part of the business has become, you know, interacting with people. But, you know, the current position I think that's shared amongst pretty much every e-commerce store owner is our market's very international, and it's very dispersed. And the upkeep of running a brick and mortar might like always outweigh the benefits of doing it. And then you have to worry about staffing it and then keeping people there. And if people don't come into the store, won't the staff be bored? And all sorts of stuff. So, you know, it's in consideration, but I wouldn't expect it to be like a norm in the industry anytime soon.
All right. Cookie Slapper would like to know, what events do you think should be added to the WCA, and your favorite and least favorite events, both WCA and non-WCA?
Okay, so adding events is really weird, because there's like so much to choose from, and it's kind of hard. But my top two picks would be Fisher Cube and Mirror Blocks. I think those are like normal enough puzzles that, you know, are commercially available and people can get pretty good at them, and they're not too weird. And so they're, you know, it's like a pretty good mix. Favorite event used to be one-handed. Now, like, I'm terrible. So, yeah, I don't really know. I still enjoy one-handed. It's just a lot of pressure, and it's really easy to mess it up in comp. Like, you make one wrong turn, and then you have to fix it, and then you lose 2 seconds, and then you just lose. And it doesn't help that I'm in the East Coast, and like you can get a 14 average and place 8th in one-handed. Least event, I don't think I really deserve to give an answer for that, because I just don't do enough events. There's not one event that I particularly, you know, dislike. I'm just indifferent about pretty much everything that's not one-handed.
Okay. So, Cubing with Mikai would like to know, what are your thoughts on ZZ variants like ZZ CT or ZZ Snake Pattern?
Okay, well, I don't know what ZZ Snake Pattern is. To my knowledge, there hasn't been any documentation, so it might not even exist. CT is interesting. I actually practiced with Chris Tran a few times, and I got him to explain the method. And it's something that's like really cool. It came from Chris Tran, and so at first I was like, okay, this can't be realistic, because Chris Tran is known for, like ZB and knowing. I think aside from like Jabari, he's like the craziest person when it comes to algs and being like, oh yeah, anyone can learn ZB, and I don't know if I like completely agree with that. But CT is cool because it's a lot easier to understand too. It's not crazy like ZZD, and like the objectives of the method are very clear, and the algorithms seem nice. He gave me some statistics on how many of the algs out of the total are 2-gen and the move count. It all seems pretty reasonable. It's just feel like it might be a little weird to apply it to all 4 slots, but definitely if you have a way to do it, it's got a lot of interesting things about it.
All right. Lenny would like to know if you have a favorite PLL or OLL algorithm.
I'd rather skip it, but for PLL, it's probably counterclockwise U-perm, because it ends in an R, and then I can AUF any way I want and not like get interrupted. And the OLL, it's got to be like the anti-soon. it's the shortest OLL for me, and yeah, I'm just really lazy. So yeah, U-perm and anti-soon.
And next, Slumzilla would like to know, what are your other hobbies, or what do you do when you're not cubing?
Okay. I like to play music. I grew up playing classical violin, and so occasionally I'll do that. And we're trying to form a company band, actually. And so it's pretty fun. Like, everyone plays an instrument, and then we can play at like comps, and no one can stop us because we're usually sponsoring the comp. It's a sneaky way to get performance time. And then I play a few games here and there. And like most recently, I've been playing Pokemon. I used to play very competitively, and now I play Rambat and Showdown. It's a lot of fun, and people don't expect. And I sometimes I play with customers and like random people.
Yeah, I really like that idea of the company band, though. You should definitely pursue that. I am a musician myself. I think I have a few music cases strewn across the floor back there.
Yeah, see the music stand. I have the same music stand.
Yeah. I play clarinet and a little bit of saxophone in my school's marching band, so
cool.
I definitely like the idea of mixing those two hobbies.
Yeah, we don't have any wind and brass in our band right now.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's the one thing we're missing. We have a string instrument, a guitar player, I guess another string instrument, a percussionist, and a keyboard. And we also don't have a vocalist, so, yeah, I don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah, maybe you should work on a Cubicle theme song or like a jingle.
Oh, yeah. There's one that's like unofficially our theme song. It's called Rolling Wild Men. It's made by this DJ I used to work with when I was in college, and Ro really liked the song, and so he just play it whenever he's in the car. And when he was doing his 24-hour cube thing, we actually had that playing for at least like 8 of the hours. And it was like nonstop looping. I don't think people realized it on stream.
Well, if you ever do a competition in Florida, I'll try and be there and I'll try and bring something with me.
Yeah, let's jam.
Yeah,
really badly.
All right. Oh, with that, I think that's about all we have. Thank you very much. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I missed one question. People want to know what your favorite Pokemon is.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. So, like to use, I started in Gen 3, so I like Skarmory.
Yeah.
Skarmory is just a big jerk. I played mostly stall, so like Skarmory, Suicune, just like really tanky, unkillable, annoying things. So, yeah, I would say Skarmory.
I've actually got with me
my
first copy of Emerald that I've ever got.
That's a really valuable game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can find that really easy now.
It's one of my prized kind of things to own. All right. So, yeah. Thank you very much.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having me. Now